You ever see those companies that just seem to move at the speed of light? They launch new features, they pivot, they're everywhere at once, while other companies take months just to approve a change? Well, the secret isn't just about hustle. It's about their foundation, their architecture. So let's get into it and see how they're building things differently.
And look, the pressure is on. Gartner recently found that a whopping 62% of CEOs are laser-focused on profitable growth for 2025. That's a huge majority. They want to innovate, they want to move fast, they want to win.
But here's the billion-dollar question, right? What happens when that big ambition for growth just slams right into a brick wall of old, clunky tech? Well, for a lot of businesses, that's the reality they're facing every single day. Okay, so to really get the solution, we've got to understand the problem first. And for so many companies, the thing slowing them down, the innovation bottleneck, is their monolithic architecture. We're talking the old way of building software. Think of it like this. A monolithic system, it's like a statue that's been carved from one single giant block of marble. It's impressive, sure, but what if you want to change its pose? You can't just move the arm. You risk cracking the whole thing. A composable system, though? Now that's like having an infinite box of Legos. You can just snap pieces together, swap out a red brick for a blue one, and build something totally new without breaking anything. The legendary software developer Mary Poppendieck just hit the nail on the head with this. She said, almost everything we know about good software architecture has to do with making software easy to change. That's the whole game right there. It's not about building something to be perfect forever. It's about building something that's ready for whatever comes next.
So let's get into this new way of building. Let's really talk about these digital Legos and what composable architecture actually means.
You know, at its core, it's pretty straightforward. Composable architecture is a way of building your tech from a whole bunch of separate, modular, interchangeable parts. Each little piece does one job and does it really, really well. This lets you assemble the exact system you need whenever you need it.
So what makes these digital Legos so special? Well, they've got a few key traits. They're modular and totally self-contained. They're usually stateless, which just means every interaction is treated like a brand new one. And this is the big one. They are interchangeable. Don't like your current payment system anymore? No problem. You just unplug that block and snap in a new one. Now, this isn't just a free-for-all, a random pile of parts. There's a set of rules, a recipe that makes sure all these Lego blocks actually fit together and work. It's an approach called MACH. MACH is actually an acronym. It stands for the 4 pillars that make this whole thing work: Microservices, API first, cloud native, and headless. Let's just quickly break down what each of those means. All right, first up, the M is for microservices. These are the individual Lego blocks. Each one is its own little mini application that handles one specific business need, like your shopping cart, or your payment processor, or how users log in. And since they're all separate, your team can update the cart without any fear of breaking the payment system. Next, A is for API first. So if microservices are the Lego blocks, then APIs are the little bumps and holes on top that let them snap together perfectly. An API is basically a universal contract, a language that lets all these different pieces talk to each other securely. It's what guarantees that a blue block can connect to a yellow one every single time. Then we've got C for cloud native. This just means the whole system is designed from day one to live in the cloud. We're not just talking about renting a server somewhere, we're talking about really using the power of the cloud for insane scalability and speed. You can handle a massive Black Friday sale and then scale right back down automatically. And finally, H is for headless, and this one is so important. It's about separating the back end, the brain, where all the logic lives, from the front end, the face that your customers actually see. This gives you total freedom to push your content or your product to a website, a mobile app, a smartwatch, maybe even a smart fridge someday, all without having to rebuild the core system every time. Okay, so right about now, a lot of you might be thinking, hang on, this just sounds like microservices with a new name. And that's a really common point of confusion. But the difference between them is actually huge. So yeah, let's just tackle that question head on. Is composable architecture just another way to say microservices? The short answer? Absolutely not. Here's the real difference. Microservices are a technical approach. Their focus is on building one single application in a reliable way. Composable architecture, on the other hand, is a business strategy.
Its focus is on making the entire business adaptable. It uses microservices as one of its tools, but its scope is way, way bigger.
So to bring it back to our Lego analogy one last time, microservices are the individual bricks, but composable architecture, that's the master blueprint for the entire Lego city. The houses, the cars, the airport, and how it all connects to become something much bigger.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but who's actually doing this? Who's winning with this approach out in the real world? Well, it turns out it's a lot of the companies you already use every single day. In the world of finance, you've got JP Morgan using this approach to speed up payments and fraud detection. In e-commerce, you have the giants Amazon and Shopify built on these principles to handle unbelievable scale. And of course, there's Netflix. They famously ripped out their old monolith and rebuilt on microservices to power their explosion into a global streaming empire. And this quote from Netflix really gets to the culture that this kind of architecture creates. It isn't about being reckless. It's about building a system that's so modular and so resilient that you can constantly try new things. You can experiment, have small failures, and learn from them without ever bringing the whole house down. That's how you innovate fast.
So let's bring this all home. Why does any of this matter to you or your business? Well, it boils down to one thing. In today's world, the ultimate competitive advantage isn't being the biggest. It's being the fastest. It's speed.
And the numbers here are just staggering. Gartner found that organizations using a composable approach can roll out new features 80% faster than their competition. Let me say that again. 80% faster. That's not just a little better, that's playing a completely different game.
Which really leaves us with one final and, I think, pretty critical question to think about. In a world that is changing faster than ever, is your business built to change with it? Or is it built to last in a world that doesn't really exist anymore? The choice and the architecture is yours.